call today's Board of Trustees meeting to order. Let the record reflect it is Thursday, April 25th, and the time is 9:04. Aloha kako, welcome to our Board of Trustees meeting. This meeting can be viewed and observed via live stream on OHA's website at www.oha.org/livestream. Before we get started, let me announce that item 3A1 was received after the 72-hour deadline. I will also be taking the agenda out of order. Items 3B, C, and F will be taken first, and we will be going into executive session for those three items. Only since we filed our agenda on Friday, we have received a lot more information that is proprietary information. And I discussed it with Judge Klein, and we felt that we needed to go into executive session so that the trustees will be free to ask questions and we can have a discussion. Okay. At this time, I'm going to ask the board secretary to call the roll.
Trustee,
Yes.
Be present, executive session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Ahuna.
Here.
Trustee Akaka.
Ew.
Trustee Akina. Trustee Alapa. Trustee Galuteria. Trustee Souza. Trustee Trask.
Present.
Trustee Waihe'e. It's not on. Chair Hulu Lindsay.
Present.
You have 8 trustees. You have quorum.
Mahalo. Joining us today, we have our board counsel, Robert Klein, and our CEO, Kapohana Stacy Ferreira. I would like to ask Stacy to introduce any administrative staff joining us today.
Mahalo nui, Chair. Aloha kakahiaka, Chair and trustees. Joining us today, we have Chief Financial Officer Ramona Hink, Interim Corporation Counsel Everett Ota, Interim Senior Legal Counsel Nichi Ozawa, Senior Director of Hawaiian Cultural Affairs Hailama Farden, Director of Uiwi Wellbeing and Aina Momona Kuike Kamakia Ohelo, Information Technology Manager Tiger Hugh Lee, IT Systems Engineer and Administrator Arlene Aguinaldo, IT Systems Engineer and Administrator Kevin Chalk, and Director of Land Assets, Commercial Assets is Tim Wong.
Thank you. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Lehua, do we have anyone signed up to testify on these items?
No one is signed up to speak on these items.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Trustee Ahuna. Mahalo. Trustee Akaka.
Aye.
Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa.
Aye.
Trustee Galuteria.
Aye.
Trustee Souza.
Aye.
Trustee Trask.
Aye.
Chair Hulu Lindsay.
Aye.
You have 8 yes votes.
Thank you. We're going to move on to new business. On the agenda is 3B CNHA presentation. And we're going to take these items in executive session one at a time and separate from each other so that there's no overlapping of people within the executive session, except the trustees and our staffs. So I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Oh, okay. Do we have anybody testifying on the items that's going into executive session?
Yes, we do. The first person is Nathaniel. Let me see if he's on. Nathaniel Pack.
Okay, put him on.
Go ahead, Nathaniel. Let's try. Nathaniel, we'll come back to you. Jermaine Myers.
I didn't, is this for Kuya Lois presentation?
This is for,
All three
yes.
before we go into executive session.
Oh, all three agenda, which ones are you going to executive
We're
session?
going to
'Cause
start with a CNHA, then
Uh-huh,
we'll go to commercial real property assets update with
okay,
Sam Chung and Stacy. And then we'll go to the third item, State of Hawaii land transfers.
okay, so it includes the commercial real property assets update?
Yes.
Oh, okay, you're going into executive session regarding that. Okay, so are we gonna see a presentation on it?
Huh?
Are we going to see a presentation on it? Or we
No.
just have to give our testimony based on
Yes.
what was in the packet?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Aloha, my name is Jermaine Myers. I'm an OHA beneficiary for beneficiary advocacy and empowerment. I'm also a Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead lessee. Mahalo to administration for acknowledging the State Audit Report 2304, which was released last year in March 2023. I feel that before we entertain a new strategy or a new consultant, we need to take into consideration what the state auditor had highlighted. The state auditor report highlighted concerns that OHA trustees, that's all 9 of you, are not fulfilling your fiduciary duties regarding kaka'ako and all lands owned by OHA. According to findings number 1, without a real estate strategy or land acquisition policies, OHA's approach to identifying and acquiring commercial properties is ad hoc, raising questions about the prudence of trustee action. Now, who's the kuleana to create these policies, these real estate strategy and land acquisition policies? Well, according to OHA's website, where we retrieve the board and the committee agenda, minutes, and meeting folders, it explains the duties of each committee. It starts the following for the RM committee's purpose and responsibilities. Kuleana. The Committee on Resource Management, RM, recommends policies for the management of the agency's investment portfolio and other fiscal and budgetary matters. It also develops policies and guidelines for OHA's land acquisitions, dispositions, development, and management. I repeat, it also develops policies and guidelines for OHA's land acquisitions, dispositions, development, and management. I was very surprised to see that in the audit report, it states that it was outdated as far as no policies are present regarding land acquisition, disposition, development, and management of OHA's lands. I looked, it said the policies refer to the bylaws, but anyway, it said that in 2014, OHA acknowledged that it was needed these guidelines and these policies. So who was in charge of the RM committee since 2014? Well, we know for the last 4 years, it's been Chair Waihe'e and Vice Chair Luana Alapa. Prior to that, it was Chair Danahuna and it was Bob Lindsay. But if I go back to 2014, when it was acknowledged, it was RM Chair Colette Machado, Vice Chair Hanani Apoliona. So this is where the ball has been dropped regarding these policies. trustees are not acknowledging their kuleana when they are the chair and the vice chair of the RM committee. So that's where one concern that I have. And when is the RM committee going to start agendizing for these policies to be developed in the RM committee? Since the report had came out in March, I'm looking for the minutes that after the audit report was posted in March. Has the RM committee been working on these policies in the committee? So that's one of my concerns to address what the audit report stated. The audit report has also highlighted the acquisition. Well, one of the things they brought up about the tent, under the tent, I was very concerned about that, about all this wasted money because of non-due diligence and because of non-policies that would have guided the due diligence. Had the RM committee created these policies, it would have guided. But it also had highlighted the acquisition of the lands next to Nalama Kukui. And it stated that the COO and the then land development, oh, I see my time is coming up, manager at the time, he's now at DHHL, they had actually submitted a bid, 45 million to 47 million. When I look at what vice chair at the time, Brandon Lee, he stated when he was running in 2022 that he had something to do with that purchase. But that was done outside of knowledge by the board as far as putting in the bid. So I think that there should be an audit because we just came out all of these audit for fraud, waste, and abuse. Also, what happened to Trustee Aquino with Grassroots Institute checking on watchdogging agencies or OHA? Because you are a trustee of OHA. So how come you allowed for, Brandon Lee and these two employees of OHA or two managers of OHA put in these bids without knowledge of the board and then try to fix it? I mean, they even talked about that there is put someone in one of the audit report findings, it was that, there's potential soil contamination that nobody knows the depth and the breadth and the width of it as part of one of these parcels. But Chair, I see that my time is up, and I'm sorry if I jumped all over the place, but what I'm basically trying to say is that the RM committee needs to get on it. All nine board members, the trustees in the committee, but most especially the chair and the vice chair of the RM committee needs to get on board with the policies. And before you guys take any transfers of land, before you guys continue on with Kaka'ako, et cetera, et cetera. Kia kuapu, God bless all of you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, 3 more speakers. We have Faith Chase. I'm getting it. Aloha kakayaka, Chair Lindsay, Juana Ferreira, Board of Trustees. My name is Faith Chase. I'm the Director of Fundraising and Strategic Communications for Reuse Hawaii. I know I've come before you in the past. I'm going to try to be brisk because I know you have an exciting afternoon. I just wanted to remind this body and others who are listening that Reuse Hawaii is a nonprofit. We are Hawaii's only licensed deconstruction service provider. We have several programs. Deconstruction is our main one, right? We salvage all the materials and we bring them back to our redistribution center, providing them back to their community at a 75% savings, helping to keep the cost of living down. We also have a tree milling program that's vibrant and growing. We have also the redistribution actually helps participants learn retail management, so to speak, with the sales and the management space for our workforce development program participants. That's a nice segue for me to actually I wanted to back up a little bit and sort of share the organizational how, if you will. The timeline is really interesting. This Reuse Hawaii nonprofit is the brainchild of Quinn Vittum, my executive director, who happens to be here today. In 2006, he wrote a grant for Hawaii Community Foundation for $3,000, wrote the business plan, succeeded, had the seed money to begin. Regus Hawaii's always been in Kakako Makai. They started in 2006 in an open lot by Point Panic. And then in 2009, moved to the warehouse, secured a lease in the warehouse that we remain today. So it's been a budding growth with the workforce development program during COVID. Was surprising, unbeknownst to the organization. There was an avenue to sort of build into a social enterprise. We're up to 41 employees, and 30% of that workforce development, 30% of our staffers are that workforce development program. That is a nice segue to the appropriations that we were just recently awarded from the congressional representative Schatz to the tune of $500,000, which is going to help expand our workforce development program. And then also, I know I mentioned it before that we had submitted a letter of intent for an EPA grant. We're moving strongly forward. We have identified Chaminade as our statutory lead, and we have 8 community-based organizations. Some of them, I believe, might be in the room today. Many of them serving directly Native Hawaiians. And so we are excited about that. That's a $20 million grant, and it's meant to serve disadvantaged communities and also specifically promote green jobs, which we do well. We might, I don't mean to be boastful or tantaran, but we are becoming the leaders in that sector. So I just wanted to remind this body that we're doing good work, and there's some other staff online, and then also my executive director can fill in any blanks. And thank you for your support and your time, and have fun this afternoon.
Our next speaker is Quinn Vittum.
One. Okay. All right. Mahalo, Chair Lindsay, Board of Trustees, and Pohana Ferreira. So nice to see you. Yeah, I just wanted to express the gratitude for all of you for hosting us at the Lot L. It's been really incredible community resource. We have 4,000 people that visit every month, and we're an incredible source for low-cost building materials, and we also do workforce development, like Faith mentioned. And it's our 18th year as an organization, and really proud of all that we've done. We have 47 employees now, and have had just tremendous support from city and county and state and local foundations and all kinds of people, and Senator Galataria, of course, helped us with our first GIA, so thanks for that, back in 2017. And so just wanted to highlight a couple of pieces around the impact. You know, last year we diverted about 500 tons of material from the landfill and provided it to the community as a low-cost resource. As you all know, there's a waste crisis and a landfill issue for all of Hawaii, but in particular for Oahu. The landfills are closing in 2028, and the city and county, who's charged with siting a new landfill, is really stuck on where that's going to go. I'm sure you've seen all that. And so Reuse Hawaii's programs are really proactive, important staple for being able to address that issue. We also help people save money. We have a lot of folks that can't afford to buy new material that come into Reuse Hawaii, that come to Hakuone and shop for material and experience Reuse Hawaii. I'm sure you've all been, so thanks, you know, for those of you that have bought stuff. And we also track our greenhouse gas emissions. So with climate change being such a big thing and being right on the ocean like we are, last year we prevented 300 tons of greenhouse gas from entering the atmosphere. This is because when we salvage material, not only do we recover the resources, but all the embodied energy that was originally invested into that material in the first place. So we're basically not needing to produce more material and produce all that energy. And the workforce development program is really incredible. We have about a third of our staff that come to us through various partnerships to train and employ folks that have barriers to employment. So thank you for allowing us and helping us to make that big impact. The last piece I wanted to talk about is just the kind of setting the record straight, if you will, on just the lease renewal process. We started a couple years ago with CBRE, and I know you guys switched to Colliers, and then so we kind of started over with them last year. And in November, we got a 5-year, an offer for a 5-year lease. And I actually have it here. Maybe I can email it to you later, but and so we were waiting to hear back on just some details related to the yard space and followed up a bunch of times, didn't hear back. I think there was a lot of planning happening on your end and maybe not sure what was happening, but we didn't hear back from Colliers after following up until last month. And we were shocked that they mentioned that they want us to vacate. And it really caught us off guard. And we're here to really ask for your help. We need to remain in the space, and we feel like we can be partners with OHA to help fulfill some of your objectives and continue to be a community resource. And so as a next step, we'd love to meet at our facility and talk more about the impacts that we do and work out a way that we can continue to be a part of Hakuone. So thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are gonna try Nathaniel Pack one more time.
Where is he? Nathaniel, are you on there? Are you on Zoom? No? Can you unmute your mic so we can hear you? Okay, I'm going to call on Jermaine again, who wants to testify for item F, exploration of potential state of Hawaii land transfers. Jermaine, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Chair. Thank you, mahalo. Again, for the record, my name is Jermaine Myers. As I stated earlier, and I understand that it is a wonderful opportunity for us to get lands transferred, and I'm grateful that you're going to go in executive session so that we can keep this under cover as far as what is a potential land acquisitions that may be transferred or land transfers that the state is offering. But again, I want to highlight that we need these policies. I would assume that if the policies did exist, it would be in the packet. But so again, Ikalamai, if they do exist, since the audit report came out in March, I would love to get a copy of it so that, you know, as a beneficiary, I understand that you are fulfilling your fiduciary duties and having these policies and procedures, and it's not just going by what the mood is, or what particular trustees would like. That has always been one of my concerns, is that whenever I see new trustees on the board, or sometimes even the incumbent ones, there seems to become an attitude of pet projects, like, and that's what is highlighted when, if you go and read Brendan Lee when he was running for Oahu trustee in 2022, and he was saying that he was part of the land acquisition, or it was his bright idea for the land acquisition of the lands around Nalamakukui. You know, it really highlights to me when trustees come on, they asked for to represent the Lalahui, but they come into an institution that already has strategic plans that were in place. We have a 15-year strategic plan. And before we start taking transfers of land, we need to understand that we have a foundation of policies and bylaws and procedures that are also being followed. And so as I expressed earlier, and what I'm trying to say right now is that I'm concerned that trustees come in with a pet project mentality, like, I want to have casinos, or I want to acquire the lands around Nalamakukui so that when I campaign, against Trustee Akaka, a strong incumbent for Oahu, that, oh, I can unseat her because I'm coming up with these fabulous ideas. Hey, go back to the strategic plan. What does the strategic plan say? In the audit report, it says that you don't even have a strategic plan on housing Hawaiians, like defined what is it? Are you going to go for Native Hawaiians or Hawaiians or work? You don't even have a policy on that. So again, the RM committee needs to come to doing their kuleana and doing these policies and getting all 9 trustees engaged. It just gets ratified at the board level. But at the committee level, both RM and BAE, that's where you do the work. And so why isn't these things being done? Again, because I feel that it's leaving the door open for trustees that want to have their pet projects done instead of focusing on the 15-year strategic plan, instead of focusing on the kuleana of each committee, instead of focusing on, do we have the bylaws? Do we have the policies to support our strategic plan? No, it's just like ad hoc, just doing what you want to do. That needs to stop. And especially in an election year, I'm going to hold all of you accountable. You guys need to be coming here for the Lahui and not for your own personal pet projects. And I want to highlight that I went to Broken Promises, Jean Ward, on Prince Kuhio Day on March 26th. Me and other Waianae Moku beneficiaries, Native Hawaiians, lessees, residents of homestead land, we went to the Broken Promises at the state capitol. Jean Ward had done part 2. Ex-Governor John Waihee was there. And when it came about and the discussion was, why are we not unified? And where can there be power for us to transform and attain things that we need? Governor Waihee stated that we need to unify. Well, I say he's focusing on the Lahui unifying. We need the leadership to unify. We look at you guys, for example, no different than children look at parents, how they behave. That's how the children behave. So if you wonder why we not unified as a Lahui, look at you guys' own self. If you guys not unified and you guys not talking to each other nicely and working with each other, you wonder why we have division in the Lahui. So ever since that day, I have been thinking about what he stated. And I think it's important that you as our leaders, you need to be pono before you expect the Lahui to be pono.
Mahalo,
I see my
Chairman.
time is up. Mahalo kea kuapu. God bless all of you.
Okay, we're moving on.
Chair, is there any more speakers?
Done, yeah. Let's close.
Oh, can I make a motion to go into executive session?
Mhm. It's been moved and seconded that we go into executive session. And, just coincidentally, all 3 items involves something to do with land. So I'm gonna ask the the aides and administration to stay in. The rest can leave. Of course, the people that is part of these presentations are welcome to stay.
Okay, I'll do a roll call to go into executive session. Trustee Ahuna,
Yes.
Trustee Akaka,
Aye.
Trustee Akina,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa, Trustee Galuteria.
Aye.
Trustee Souza.
Aye.
Trustee Trask,
Aye.
Trustee Wahehe,
Yes.
Chair Hulu Lindsay.
Yes.
You have 9 yes votes. We are moving into executive session.